Hello everybody, ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today we're going to do a live review of the Mythic Legion Siege of Bjorngar. This is the entire wave right here. It was a smaller wave. Um, and hopefully I gotta kind of stop washing out my lighting here. But I am here as promised. And I did promise you guys I would do this live review today. Pretty stoked about this wave. I think it looks pretty cool, and we're gonna dive right in and get a little bit more in depth, as opposed to the unboxing in depth unboxing hangout that I did of these guys and girl last night. I'm going to go through the packaging, the read up, each figure, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So I'll just kind of wait for some people to pop in here. If you are watching this review on playback, you can fast forward through the little bit of the intro. I usually try to let my live viewers kind of pop in. Dylan Hibbs, how's it going? Hello, hello. Welcome to the live review. And yeah, there should be a lot of fun. I was pretty excited about this wave, seeing as we're getting much larger figures. I think the two on the left and right, the larger characters, they are technically ogres, and then the Bolthar, the tower in the middle, is, I believe, is a half giant. So that's from what I read on his little bit of a read up. But we'll get to that. I was pretty stoked about all of these, even the kind of, you see the wave 2. Let me get my pointer out so my hand's not in the way. She's from reused. She's got a lot of reused parts from wave 2, and he's got a lot of reused parts from wave 2 as well. Pretty sure that the head is new, though. I might be mistaken there. Pretty sure that head is new, though. I think so. I think it is. Anyway, point being, these guys are all new sculpts and new tooling. They do look like they kind of have some similarity to their smaller counterparts. It looks like maybe they upscaled them, but there is a lot of new design, new tooling going on here as far as that is concerned. So pretty excited about this. I like the overall product that we did get. But let's kind of give people a little bit more time to kind of pop in here. And then I believe we will start probably with Faustia. Then we'll work our way through with Thwick. And then we'll go with the Legion Builder. Then we'll go with, I believe his name is Urzak. Let me double check. I don't want to mispronounce the names because I do have a tendency to do that. Kurzog, and then we'll do Bolthar, the tower, last, seeing as he might be my favorite. I don't know. So we'll give some people some more time, and then we'll jump right into it. This way, everyone can join us at the same time. I do have all their accessories, and I will go through, actually, you know what, this gives me a good chance to kind of go through this in the beginning of the review. This way, if you do happen to watch this on playback, you're watching it in the beginning, I can get it out of the way. The 4 horsemen, while I take this out of the bag, have now been sending out little PSA notes, guiding collectors in the right direction. I did discuss this on the unboxing yesterday of these. Here is the little PSA warning for joint breakage. So if you want to go ahead and read that, you can, but I'll kind of discuss what to do and what not to do. It does suggest that you use a hairdryer. Now, I will personally suggest that you use warm water as opposed to a hairdryer with these figures specifically. And I'll kind of point out why. But here is the little PSA. You can go ahead and read that. It does discuss that these figures, especially this wave specifically, are coming from a cold weather climate. I live in a cold weather climate too, being from Buffalo, New York. So it's going from cold to cold. I gave these guys and gal about a day to kind of warm up, heat up the joints, then start slowly moving the joints. Now, a lot of people are using hair dryers, and a lot of people have already had breakage issues, whether it's on the Facebook groups or whether it's on the forums, and they're posting pictures. Oh, my legs and stuff are and such are snapping. Excuse me. But the issue is that they are using hair dryers. Now, hair dryers do tend to heat up joints differently than your traditional warm water or hot water does. I definitely would recommend you use warm water with these specifically on the joints, because warm water does heat up the entire inside of the joint, where the hair dryer heats up the outside but not the inside of the joint. So it's not getting the full, like with GI Joes it's different because they use a different type of plastic. With Marauders it's different because they use a different type of plastic. This is a much more thick. I still think that they're using clear plastic, so whenever you're using a trying to heat up a clear plastic joint, just go with hot water or warm water. Mostly you want to go with a more warm water route. It's just a little bit of knowledge I'm trying to pass on to help out fellow Mythic Legions collectors or even NECA collectors, because they use clear plastics as well. So with that being said, that's just something I kind of wanted to touch on really quick. Dylan, yes, I will be doing more Marauders videos in the future. But for right now, we're going to discuss Mythic Legions. And so that's just something I wanted to touch on. So don't, I know it says on here to use, it's okay to use a hairdryer, but don't. I'm just telling you from what I have seen, people are still having breakage issues with using hairdryers, so don't do them. Don't use them. Use the warm water, please. For your sake and your figure's sake. But, so there is that. And I'm assuming down the road, you know, possibly maybe the Four Horsemen will address this further and maybe try and switch plastics to maybe a little bit more of a rubbery plastic, maybe at least where the peg joints are or something like that. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what their budget is and such. So, but anyway, let's start off. I'm going to start pulling these away, and we'll start off with Faustia and then work our way through. Like I said, we'll do Faustia, we'll do Thwick, and then we'll do the Ogre Legion Builder, and then we will do Kurzog, and then both are the Tower. Away we go. All right. So, talking about Faustia here. See, I'm going to readjust. I'm going to readjust my lighting because she's a little bit on the shorter side. Just a little bit. Just a little bit on the shorter side. There we go. Make sure we can see her crisp and clear. There we are. Okay, so here's Faustia. Here are all of her accessories. She comes with everything that you see here, and including the back adapters for her. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. If you can see this okay, give me a thumbs up in the comments. That does help to let me know so we can communicate properly. But, okay, so Faustia, she is, thank you, Dylan. She is a part of the Leodicius clan. And so basically she's a part of, she is a part of, what's his name? Attila Leoser, his group. She does come with an extra head, which is right here, and it is very similar to what was her name from the female Templar Knight. Can't remember her name from Wave 2. I can't remember her name for some reason. I don't know why. But she does come with her back adapters as well. There's all the back adapters, so if you wanted to add a shield to her back, you want to use this middle one right here. If you want to add a wings to her back, you have two different adapters right there. So you have that option as well. So those are the back adapters. Going back to the head really quick, let me grab some, my tweezers are downstairs, so we'll just use my pointer. Or actually, I'll just use my fingers. Talking about the head really quick, it looks really cool. I like the overall aesthetics of the head. The sculpt of the head looks really cool with the breathing holes for the front of the helmet. I think it's a very nice design. I don't mind the reuse of the design. I like the nice Templar Knight logo on the huge cross on the head. It's a very well sculpted head. I really like the gold with the red, and then you've got silver little divots for the rest of the helmet, the studs going around. Everything looks very nicely done with this sculpt. And there's the back portion. Sorry for my thumbs and fingers. I know they're I'm a working man. But anyway, that's the helmet. Those are her other accessories, getting through to her shield here. Now with these shields, I always tend to use the shield with all of the female figures from, or even the smaller male figures bodies that we got from Wave 2. I tend to go this route with the shield. I don't really have them holding this because their hands are so small on that peg for the handle. It doesn't really secure properly, so I just kind of put the hand through the little shield portion. Now, an easier way to do that is to depeg this right here. Just tuning in, just got my set yesterday, so get in ovens, brand. thanks for tuning in, bud. But I usually like to depeg this right here, and then put the hand right there, and then peg that on like so. Try to be careful with the peg on this. It is a shallow peg and a smaller one. But there is the shield. I like the shield. It looks pretty cool. It is a reuse from the weapons pack from Wave 2. And we got some nice silver right here. And then we got some silver for the studs going around the shield. And then we also have some nice red with gold. And it looks really cool. Very nicely done. Got a little bit of red spackle right there. It's not the end of the world. It's just something to point out. But there's the shield. So there's the other accessory. Now, another one of my favorite accessories that she does come with is her sword. Now let me get her out of the shot here just so we're not having focusing issues. I really like this sword quite a bit. I think this is one of my favorite swords that they've given us. That and the new, I believe it's a barbarian sword, or no, I'm sorry, the dwarf sword that they gave us as well, the thicker bladed sword. That's a really cool looking sword as well. But I love these little extended blades coming out of the side right there. It's a very nice design. Very much appreciated. I love how the length of this sword, it just looks so badass. Nice silver paint for the blade. And then here's the hilt right here. Gaz, what's going on, man? Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. And then we've got some black for the blade. If you're just tuning in, I just started going through the wave. We're starting with Faustia, and I'm just going through her accessories first. The blade looks really nice with the little bit of red accent detail right there. And it does mirror on both sides, so that's pretty nice. Really like the sculpted detail for the hilt. Looks very nice. So, really cool there with the sword. And then the last piece, she does come well armed. She really does. The last piece is her staff, or I guess you want to call this a extended mace. If you can remove the top portion, if you want to mix and match with some of the other top portions that you got, you can go that route. She does have, like I said, this extended mace right here, and I think that's very nicely done on the Four Horsemen's part as far as the sculpt, the detail. I mean, we did see this in Wave 2 when I went through those all those accessories, but you know, I do want to do this properly. So some nice sculpting right here. It would have been nice if they did accent a little bit of the sculpt right here. You're kind of losing that in the light. So it would have been nice if they would have added a little bit of gold right here, but it's not the end of the world. It's just something I'm just pointing out. I like the gold for the ball of the mace and all of the silver divots painted nicely. Don't really have any issues with that. I like the gold painted right here too. So it's a very nice mace. I kind of wish that they would, I know it's tough to do. I know they are a smaller company. I kind of wish that they would simmer down on the thickness of some of these staffs, because it does stretch out the hands quite a bit. Even though the hands are made of a more pliable plastic than some of the other portions, I want to say a lot of the female bodies have a little bit more of a flexible plastic to them, where some of the like wave 1 figures and the larger figures have more of a denser ones. Excluding the trolls, those are made of rotocast, so it's completely different. But I kind of wish that they would thin the girth of these down a little bit, just scale it down just a hair. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's just, you know, it does stretch out the hands, and then they fall out of the hands quite a bit. So just something to point out. That's all I'm saying. All right, so those are all of her accessories. Now let's pop her head off really quick and just get this other head on. The neck peg does tend to come out of the head. You can just heat that up. Whether you want to use hot water, I would definitely, like I said in the beginning of the review, I would suggest using hot water with these. Don't use a hairdryer, please. You will still snap the peg. When you submerge a peg in hot or warm water, as opposed to hairdryer, which doesn't reach the entire peg where you're trying to get at. So use some warm water. Do yourself a favor. Just trying to reiterate that over and over again. I can't stress that enough. If I can get this neck peg off, see how well I can do this. It is a little bit more difficult getting the neck peg out of the head. I kind of have to go get my tweezers really quick, so bear with me. Okay, had to grab the tweezers. So, if it does get stuck, just kind of work with it to try and pop it out. It shouldn't be too bad here. Let me get in there. If I can get this out. Well, it is being kind of a pain. I don't want to scrape. I already scraped the paint a little bit on the neck, and I don't want to do it further. So let's try the bottom. There we go. Got it. Okay. Put this head on. There we go. I'll just put it on there lightly so I can pop this back off. Okay, so there we go with that. And then we'll just pop this head on there. And that's what she looks like with her extra head on. So there you go. Sorry for the delay there, but I was trying to finagle that out. Yes, learning experience, you know, with some of these heads. Let's see if I can pop this out again without the head. No, the neck's going to come off. I definitely suggest using some tweezers and just kind of grabbing it from the bottom portion like that and then popping it out like that. Just kind of roll it out. Roll out. And then we'll just put this head back on there. I think this is a little bit more, looks a little bit more like Faustia to me, as opposed to just the helmet head. Delphina, that's what I was thinking of. Delphina head. There we go. Anyway, she looks really cool. I like the head sculpt underneath the unmasked one. Very nicely done. I like the sculpt of this body. Like I said, this is a reuse of the Wave 2 Delphina. I think it's Delphina. That's how it's pronounced. But anyway, I like the reuse of this body. The head is different. The head is off of, I want to say the same. It's the same one as the fan choice exclusive, or I forgot what that was called. Anyway, her cape is on a specific way that I like to have it on. And now technically you are supposed to fold the cape inward and then peg it into the back. But what I like to do is I like to use all 4 pegs, and then I like to Ravenna. Thank you very much. I like to take the 4 pegs and use them separately. So I popped both these arms off, and then I took the shoulder pads off, and I put the 2 holes on the middle back portion, and I pegged those into the shoulder pieces, and then I took the other 2 peg holes for the cape, and I pegged the arms through those holes into there, so it sits a little bit more unique than the traditional way. So that's just, if you're wondering how did I do that, that's how I did it. So just trying to be informative as much as possible here. I like the red cape though, very nicely done as far as the red cape does go. It does lay nicely. I kind of wish that at least the top of these holes, where the holes are, had maybe like a little bit of a thicker cushion to them. I feel like they're going to rip very easily. So that's one thing that I would like to see an improvement on, is some of the cloth goods. Just pointing that out. It's just a little thing that I would improve personally. The shoulder pads look very nicely done, or pauldrons, excuse me. I won't say shoulder pads or shoulder. I'll say shoulder armor. How's that? Shoulder armor is very nicely done. I like the silver studs going throughout both sides. Very nice. Looks very good. I love this crest right here. It's a beautiful crest with the, I believe that's supposed to be a dragon kind of holding a, or maybe it's supposed to be, no, it's supposed to be a lion. You dip because of the lion clan. But I believe that's a hammer it's holding. Pretty cool. Like the crest, very nicely done. The face sculpt, like I said, does look very good. She does have, what does she have? Does she have green eyes, or is those like a light brown eyes, I think? Looks pretty cool. I'm trying to stare at it. They look kind of green. They look like a little bit greenish. But she's got like light brown eyebrows. Very nice. I like the red hood, which does go with the red cape. It kind of flows very well, like the cape is attached to the hood. So very nicely done with that. I don't mind that this is a sculpted piece. I think it looks good overall. It does hinder articulation a little bit, but it's not too bad. I've seen much worse. And as far as getting this sculpt to look nice, they did a pretty good job. I like the gold trim around there, and there's some sculpted detail throughout the gold trim going around. Like I said, I love this crest right here. I like the choice of colors for her, the gold, the silver studs, the black, and the red. It all flows very nicely together. So good on them for the choice of colors. Flipping it around, let me just lift up her back right here. You can see we do have some sculpted buckles and nice silver trim for the buckles. We have some brown for the leather straps going around, and we do have the back peg hole for another one of a different type of shield, or the back pegs. Like I said, you can just simply attach the back adapter right here, like so, and then you have yourself some wings. You have a wing adapter on the back. And the other adapters work just the same. You just peg it in. There's the back of her, in case you were curious. Got some brown painted buckles, or brown painted straps with silver buckles, excuse me. And there is the back of her. Flipping around back to the front, we've got this nice long kind of crotch covering tunic in the front. We've got some leg armor, thigh armor, excuse me. And she does have armor underneath everything, so that's what her legs look like. Very nicely done with that. I like the knee and shin armor with the silver studs, and then the red trim painting going throughout that as well. silver studs for the feet, and then she does have 2 peg holes at the bottom of her feet. Really quick, her articulation, as far as it does go, it can swivel at the head, and I like the fact that this is a nice pliable plastic for the hoodie. So if you do want to have her turn, she can turn. That's really well done. As far as looking up and down, she can look down a little bit, and she can look up a little bit. You get a much better range of motion with the other head as far as looking up and down, so just to point that out. The arms do go up, and these shoulder pads are a pliable plastic, so the arms can go up about that far. They can go down. They can swivel back and forth. If you take the shoulder pads off, which they are modular, you'll get a full 360 rotation right there. She does have a single bend at the elbow, a swivel at the elbow, a swivel at the wrist, swivel at the gauntlet, swivel at the wrist, hinge joint at the hand. So you can do that. I know my thumbs are gross. You don't have to tell me. Back, she does have I believe it's a diaphragm joint, and then she also has a waist twist right there. So we can do this. There's no jive turkeys, by the way. No gobbles. I think you might get some jive turkeys with the other one. So there you go. She does have a tilt, and then a swivel at there. Crunch forward, crunch back, but really good range of motion crunching back. And you also get a little bit extra range of motion in the waist. It does kind of pivot back too. Like I said, she does have a waist swivel there, and you can really get a waist swivel out of that. So that's nice. On the females, they have a peg joint that just kind of sticks up. On the males, they have like a ball peg that sticks up and kind of pops into place. I want to say that as far as durability, as far as longevity goes, I think I would prefer the peg waist that they used for like the elves, the male elves, and the female bodies, as opposed to that ball peg, which does have a tendency to snap on some people. Also to point out, she does, with the accessory department, which I did not point out, she does come with this belt holster version. So there's that as well. She does have some also, before I get to the rest of the articulation here, I kind of forgot to point out the silver chainmail underneath. She can do the splits pretty well. And that's about maxed out right there. She can get this other leg up, but the armor's kind of getting in the way there. Her leg can go forward, and it can go back. My dog is huffing and puffing at me right now. Upper thigh swivel. She does have a single jointed knee, which does get about 90 degrees. And she does have a swivel at the knee as well. Swivel at the foot. She does have an ankle tilt, which does point the toe and point the heel like so. Ankle pivot. And I already pointed out the 2 peg holes. So very nice articulation with these female figures. I don't really have any issues with that. I don't have any issues with the wrists being loose on her, the arms being loose, or the legs or the ankles being too loose either. With some of the other ones from Wave 2, I did. Maybe they corrected that with her. I don't know 100% because maybe I could have just got a good one. Who knows? But I don't have any issues with her with any of the quality control concerns. So there's that to point out as well. So as far as Faustia does go, like I said, I would definitely give her a recommend. And if she's starting to grow on you, then I would say pull the trigger. I think she's a good one. I like the chest crest. I like her overall design as far as that goes. I like the multiple different heads that or 2 heads that she does come with. I like the big long mace that she comes with. Let me just pop that back in there. There we are. I love the sword that she does come with. And she can hold everything. I'm just kind of trying to get her all geared up here again. And the shield looks very nicely done. And I should probably take my own advice and do it the way I was supposed to do it, but I'm trying to hurry up and do this really quick. There we are. So everything on her looks very nicely done. Very pleased overall. I think it's a really solid product for the $30 price point, or I think it's $35. So like I said, if you're on the fence with her, I would say snag her. I like the back adapters that she comes with as well. So if you want to give her wings, you have that option. You have plenty of options to gear her up any way you so choose. So Woodman, what's going on? You agree? You agree with the staffs? Thought they could have modified those by now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll probably in the future they'll probably fix the girthiness of them. They are a little bit too thick. But there is Ravenna, so I would definitely give her a 2 thumbs up, and I'm going to rate these individually, and then I'll go through an overview at the end. So definitely, if you were thinking about picking her up, I would suggest she's a solid one. Now, as far as her packaging does go, I know I'm doing it last, but I do want to show you the read-up, and I'll show you her clan logo. They do reuse the same box artwork that we've already seen before. So that's just something to point out as well. I actually picked this one up that I just showed you, that I just reviewed earlier in the year. I want to say back in before summer time happened. She was an earlier release, same thing with Thwick. But the bigger guys are the ones that came out later. Hold on, there's a piece of fuzz on her. But that's what she looks like in packaging. We've got the typical Mythic Legions logo. And then here is the Leodicius logo right there on the side. Flipping it around to the other side, there's her read-up. So if you're watching this on playback, you can go ahead and pause it and read it. Or if you're watching this live, go ahead and quickly read it. I will hold it here. Terry Turner, how's it going? Welcome, bro. Welcome. Thank you to my mods for popping in. Appreciate it. So there you go with the read-up. I tried to hold that up as long as possible. Okay, now let's move on to Thwick. Thwick, where you at, buddy? It's like if Mike Tyson was trying to say a Mythic Legion name, that's how he would pronounce it. Thwick. He's not skinny, but he's Thwick. Okay, so here we have Thwick. He looks really cool. He does have a plethora of different accessories, which I will grab out of the bag right now. And we'll go through these. A lot of these accessories that we have seen in Wave 2, so nothing too crazy there. Oh, you're about to watch the LSU Alabama game? Nice. I might have to watch that right after I do the review then. Alright, so first, I'll just put all of his pieces out here. He does, like I said, he does come with a plethora of different accessories here. Oh, let me move him over just a hair. This way you guys can see the little checklist that he does come with. All of the back adapters, and he does come with his handle for his shield. So this is everything that he comes with. He comes with a crossbow. He comes with this kind of like hook style, scimitar style sword. I don't know, maybe like I don't know what the technical term for that kind of blade would be, but it's a very interesting looking blade, and I like it. He does come with an arrow. Let me just get this in here first. Let me get my trusty dusty stuff in here so you don't have to. Oh God, dropping things now. Oh, now I'm dropping it again because it's so small. That's what she said. Oh God. Anyway, so here is the arrow. Very nicely done with the silver paint. It's kind of like a little bit more of a metallic, or like a charcoal gray, excuse me. And then we've got some purple for the little feathers on there. Looks very nicely done. A little bit of quality control for the, oh, now we're not focusing, there we go. A little bit of quality control for the paint there, but it's not the end of the world. So, really quick, that's the arrow. Let me put it back in this. Now, normally with these arrows, I know they're really, it's cool to get a separate arrow. I usually just kind of glue it into the crossbow here, just so I don't lose it, it doesn't get lost. Here are the back adapters. I've gone through these back adapters multiple times. I've just showed you how to use them, so there they are. I'm just going to kind of point that out. Back in the bag you go. And then next we have our handle, and this is for the shield, which is right now attached to his back. So let me just depeg that from his back. And it is a nice tight fit on his back. So if you want to have him holding that Captain America style, you can. If you also want to have this pegged in, you have 2 round holes on each side of there, and you just kind of peg that in like so. Just push that in. Now, this shield is not a, I want to say a more of a, where's Faustia's shield? Oh, it's attached to her arm. Faustia's shield and this shield, this kind of obsidian shield, which I adore, by the way, it is more of a, this is more of a pliable, rubbery style plastic, so you can kind of work with this. If this fell down the stairs, it wouldn't break or crack or anything like that. Faustia's shield, I would kind of be a little bit more mindful of its fragility. Fragility? I don't think that's a word. It might be. How fragile it is, excuse me, if that's not a word. Yeah, it does look kind of turtle-esque. It does. Yeah, looks very nice regardless. I like the little kind of silver studs that are kind of popping out of there with some rivets. It's more of like a metallic, or not, I keep saying metallic. It's more of like a charcoal metallic color as far as that's concerned. We do have some different type of like a silver for each of the studs, and it's very well painted. We also have some black dry brushing going throughout the rest of the shield here, which is very well done. Flipping it around to the back, you can kind of see the spinal cord. So maybe it is some sort of like turtle or something like that. You can see like the back spine pieces. It's very well done, very well detailed. And even the back portion, which you probably don't see all that much with posing most of these figures, you do see a lot of black paint shading going throughout the interior of each kind of spine piece. So it's very well done. Super job on the Four Horsemen's part. And you, like I said, you can peg this if you want to have him hold it. You can peg this in that peg or that peg, whether you're doing lefty or righty. And the middle peg, as I just pointed out, is for the back piece. So if you want to kind of have him holding this like a backpack on his back, that's what that piece is for. So really well done with the shield. I think the shield might be my favorite piece accessory that he does come with. I just love these shields. Next up, we have the quiver. We've seen these with Wave 2 figures. The quiver is very nicely done. A little bit of quality control here for some of the paint, but it's not the end of the world, just kind of pointing it out. I like the silver or the charcoal gray trim for this little design right here, and then it does have like a darker, actually might be a black for kind of the stitching going across the side of the quiver. So that's very nicely done as well. We do have some black paint for in between the arrows. So good on the quiver. Then we have the belt. I'm not going to really talk about this too much if we've seen it since Wave 1. Hopefully we get some new belt slash holsters slash sheaths in the future. I know we did get one with, what was it? I believe, what was it? We did get a new sheath, but it's not really connected to the belt. I would like to see a sheath that's connected to the belt. Next up, let me get his crossbow out of his hand here. And let me get, okay. Next up we have the crossbow, and this is a string, an actual string, so you can press that back over this little hump piece right there, and then you can store the arrow on here, and I'll just actually grab the arrow and show you how to do that, in case you don't know, then you'll know. Okay, there's a little piece right here, and you kind of just want to press that on there. Oop, come on. Sometimes they don't like to stay. There we go. Similar to that, like I said, I usually just glue this on. I super glue this on so it doesn't move, and then I don't lose the arrow. It is a nice little touch to have that on there. I guess you could probably hike this up more and center it better, but that's what it will look like if you do put the arrow on there. So there's that. Some tend to pop off a little bit more than others, but I guess it kind of depends on how tight those little peg pieces or this little pinched pieces right there. So, but overall, nice design for this. Is pretty much just like a brown plastic with a little bit of black accent right here for some of the pieces on there. But overall, really nice design. I kind of wish that this had a better handle on it, so you could kind of point, aim, and shoot with a crossbow. They kind of just hold it in their hand, kind of hiked upwards. So maybe in the future we'll get a pistol hinge in the hands, hopefully. Or maybe they'll just give us a different style crossbow with a handle on it. But anyway, I digress. Last up, we have his blade here, and it does look pretty cool. Very kind of sickle sword-ish blade. Nice silver for the blade, and then the handle looks very nicely done. Got some silver rivets for that. Got some red for the handle portion, and then some gold to go with that. So very nicely done as far as the paint scheme for that. Kind of changing things up from the dark tones of everything else with Thwick. And now let's get to the figure itself. Like I said, all of these figures are pretty much they're all modular with each other. So you can pop the head off, you can pop these horns off, you can pop the neck peg from the head off, like I showed you with Faustia. You can pop these shoulder pads off. You can pop the arms from the body, everything. Pretty much, essentially, everything you see here, you can pretty much break him down to a puddle of nothing. I really like this head sculpt, though. It's very menacing, very mischievous looking face, like he's up to something, you know. I think that looks pretty cool. I like the little battle damage he's got on his helmet right here. That looks very nice, like he's been through something. Nice shading going throughout this helmet too. It does feel, and it does have a little bit of feel to it, kind of like it's got some texture to it, is what I'm trying to say here. Some more battle damage on the back of the helmet. Trent's 5, how's it going? Yeah, it's an armored helmet. It looks very good. You can switch these horns around. Like I said, you can detach them. You can swivel them, whatever you want to do. If you want to have them sticking up, you can go that route as well. So there's that option for you. I really like the armored paint shading. Is very consistent throughout the entire figure right here. I really do like this kind of metallic-ish, gray-ish. And then it does accent and complement the regular kind of flat tone that you get with the chest armor, the helmet, the shoulder pauldron, and the gauntlets, and even the legs. So it's a really nice flow as far as the color scheme does go. The armor itself looks very well done. The shoulder pad, or the elbow armor, does kind of get in the way of articulation a little bit, but it is a pliable plastic. It's like a rubbery style plastic, so it's not too bad with that. You don't have to worry about it too much. Here's the back of the figure, and like I said, there's that peg, and I'll show you how to pop this shield onto the back. You see this peg that kind of sticks out? You just want to peg that in there, and you do want to wait for it to pop in. So hopefully you can hear this. Hear that little bit of a pop? You want to wait until you hear that pop, and then you have it fully in secured. So it's a nice little feature as far as hearing that, being able to hear that pop and having it a little bit more secure in there. I like the gold for the underneath for his chainmail. That looks very nice. And even a little bit of gold on the back of the legs here for the chainmail. The legs look really nicely done. It's pretty much just a black plastic for the legs, or black tone for the legs, and then we've got some silver belt buckles. The feet look very nicely done, and the silver rivets for the feet and the legs as well. A little bit of blue with some black paint shading going throughout the cod piece So everything looks pretty good on him. I don't really have any complaints with him either. I don't really have any quality control concerns. You know, the shoulder pads, or the elbow pads, excuse me, didn't pop off or anything like that. Really love this face sculpt, though. Very nicely done. I love the kind of reddish, darker reddish. It's almost like a reddish brown for the horns. And the horns also on the inside, just to point this out, the horns on the inside, it's kind of, I don't even know how to pronounce, well, yeah, it's like kind of the inside of the horn right here. It does have some black paint shading going throughout. So that looks really nice too. I like the doll's eyes, the no pupil eyes. I think that makes him look even more sinister with the kind of yellow greenish style eyes. Looks very nicely done. I love the way the teeth are done. I don't really have any issues with any too much paint. There's maybe like one little spackle for that tooth right there. Not the end of the world, just pointing it out. As far as his articulation does go in range of motion, you can swivel the head a full 360 if you need to. He can look up. He can look down. Let's see if he's got some job turkeys. A little job turkey, so that's about it. And then he can tilt his head. So if he's being coy, you can do that. Let me get my arm around here. Sorry, I'm juggling with the lighting and everything. The arm can go up about that far. That's about maxed out. And down, and there's some turkeys from Woodman. Thank you. He can swivel. If you do, like I said earlier, with Faustia, if you do pop these off, you can do a full 360 rotation with the arm. But this is about it for the arm with the shoulder pauldrons on. He does have a single bend at the elbow, which is pretty good range of motion right there for that, with all this armor kind of on him. He does also have a swivel, which does kind of move a little bit of this elbow pad armor. And if, by the way, I have gone through this with a couple of these figures with Wave 2. If this elbow pad piece does, or elbow armor piece does pop off, you can just super glue it right back into the peg hole. There's just simply a peg hole in the elbow piece right there. So not too bad right there if it does pop off. Not the end of the world. Gauntlet swivel, wrist swivel, and a wrist hinge back and forth. He does have a diaphragm joint, which can crunch forward and back. And then he can pivot side to side. He can also swivel. And then he does have a waist swivel as well. He can do the splits. Very nicely done with the splits. He is like Jean-Claude Van Damme right now. He's Van Daminating. Legs go forward. Legs go back. Upper thigh swivel. Single bend at the knee. Right there, and that's full extension. And then we have, sorry, I'm not focused here, sorry. Knee swivel, points the toe, points the heel, ankle pivot, and he does have a swivel also at the top of the ankle, and 2 peg holes. So that's his articulation. I think he's another solid goblin that we were getting. We've got quite a bit of goblins now. We got the Bog Goblin, which was technically the first goblin, I believe, from Wave 1. And then we've got a whole bunch. I think Gonks is still one of my favorite goblins, to be honest with you. And he doesn't even have, he's got pretty much an armored head. So I love Gonks. I love that figure. I still think he's my favorite. I don't know. Thwick is really cool too, though. I love everything he pretty much comes with. I like his color scheme, even though it's a little bit more on the muted side. I think the reason why I like Gonk so much is because he's got that kind of rusty look to him. I don't know. He just looks so grimy. I love it. Come on. Come on. Oh, he's kind of tilted. But and you can have him set up any way you want. You know, you don't have to necessarily have him set up with only the crossbow or only the sword. That's the coolest thing about these figures, is that you can have them any which way you want. They're modular, they're customizable, they're accessorizable. Any way you want to have them set up, you can. I like these horns to be a little bit like that, just a little bit. When did I get the larger figures in? The trolls? I got the trolls, I think that was Wave 1. when I got the trolls. The ogres are coming up next. I'm going to do the Legion Builder. Then I'm going to do Kurzog. Then I'm going to do Bolthar the Tower last. So coming up next. But overall, as far as Thwick goes, I would definitely give him a recommend. If you don't have any of the other goblins, I would say, you know, depending, it's all personal preference when it comes down to what you like as far as what's a priority with the goblins. I would say, you know, he's a solid pickup. And if you have all the other goblins, you're going to want to add this guy too, I think, if you're a heavy Mythic Legions collector. But if you just want maybe one, I think he's an option. He's not personally my favorite, but, you know, I think he's a solid pickup. I really like the color scheme, even though it is quite a little bit of muted. It's still done masterfully, because even though he's a little bit on the muted tone, I like the difference in the kind of, it's almost like he's got shiny under armor, and then with the gold kind of really just pulls all of the flat darker tone, which is the most of his heavier armor on top. It really does pull those colors out and present them in a nice fashion. So that with the kind of, I guess, turtle shell or obsidian armor, or shield that he has here, I really do think that he's a solid pickup, and I would definitely give him a 2 thumbs upper. I don't have any quality control concerns. I think all of his paint is very well done. I want to say, actually, I think his paint is done a little bit better than Faustia, and yeah, I would definitely give him a full recommend. So there is Thwick. All right, moving on to probably what everyone's really excited about, right? We're all really excited for these. This is probably the reason why you even wanted this wave, right? Let me just readjust my camera here. And we've got, ow, I'm burning my arm because I'm hitting the lighting. Here is the Ogre Legion Builder. Now, hopefully I can get this set up where I don't have to constantly move the camera, because they are on the taller side. And as I showed in the beginning of the video, and you can see in the thumbnail, you can pretty much see the size comparisons between them. I'm not really going to go through too many size comparisons. If you want to see him with a Masters of the Universe Classics figure, here is a little bit of a comparison with a Masters of the Universe Classics. So there is that. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, they are on the larger side. They're like I think they're like a hair taller than the Collect and Connect DC Multiverse Clayface figure. So that's kind of giving you a range or an idea of what these guys warrant as far as size goes. You can remove this chest armor. We'll get to that in a second. It's very easy, and I actually do want to depeg the chest armor for this guy because I want him to look a little bit different than Kurzog over here. But he looks really, really well done. Now, this is a Legion builder, and no, who knew Conan showed in the Motu community? Yeah, actually, I think, what was it? Motu Classics was actually originally supposed to be a Conan line, but it got scrapped, and they turned it into He-Man. So, but anyway, talking about the figure here, he is a Legion builder, so he's kind of like an army builder for those of you out there. And he's a little bit on the cheaper side. I believe Big Bad Toy Store has him up there for $50, which isn't too bad, because seeing as Bolthar the Tower and Kurzog over here, they both warrant the $74 price point from Big Bad Toy Store. Now, if you purchase these through the Kickstarter, or not the Kickstarter, but the pre-order, like I did, you got them for much cheaper. I think they were like $45 each. He was, I think, around 40. I think he was 40 or 35, something like that. So he's runs on a little bit on the cheaper side. So if you don't want to spend $74 on Big Bad Toy Store, then you can you pick this guy up for $50. I still think it's worth the $50 to get him, seeing as the regular figures go for $50. So very nicely done. I really like the head sculpt, and with most of your Legion builders, you are getting a little bit less paint apps, and you'll see the glaring difference between him and Kurzog with the paint apps. But still, I think it's a good base. I mean, if you are remotely any sort of painter, you can just paint this stuff and you can have him look just as good as Kurzog. He does come with cloth goods underneath his little cod piece right here. He still has paint shading going throughout his skin tone. It's like a black paint shading going throughout. So I think it looks really good regardless of whatever lack of paint he does have on his armor. So it does still help him look very nicely done as far as that's concerned. He is on a ball peg joint from the waist up. So when you are heating him up, I would suggest that you do use some warm water if you're going to really try and, I don't know, depeg anything. And just be careful. Just rock and roll your pieces when you're trying to articulate them. Now, these guys are the ones with most of the issues as far as the QC concerns go. I have seen people snap the pegs at the knees. I have seen people snap the pegs at the shoulders, and I have seen people snap the pegs at the waist. So just to be forewarned, you know, those are the spots to really look out for. The ankles are a little bit more of a durable plastic. The pegs are a little bit more of a pliable plastic for the ankle joints, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And also, I would be a little bit worrisome about the neck joint as well. So just try to be careful with your figures. Like I said, let them kind of chill in like around 70-degree weather inside your house, or you know, if you're in a warmer climate, kind of let them just hang out in your house for a day, and they'll naturally just kind of loosen themselves up. So just to point that out. Anyway, with the figure here, I'm going to try and attempt to not have the camera fall over while I'm doing this. The head does look very nicely done. I like the paint apps for the teeth. Let me see if I can focus here without doing this. Is kind of a tough thing to do. I'm kind of holding the camera up. But the lips do have a little bit of paint on there. It's like a little bit of a darker green for the lips. And then we do have the kind of like beige for the teeth that are protruding outward in that orc-like fashion. Looks very good. I like like I said, the black paint detail going throughout the clavicle, all the entire body. Wherever there's a body portion showing, there is some black paint shading going throughout. So you are still getting paint apps, which is nice. Here's the back of the figure. Looks very nice. Very Hulk-esque, to say the least. And then here is, let me just set this back up. Here is the middle portion of his tunic / thigh armor. Very nicely done. And this is like a much easier soft goods than some of the other soft goods where we would shed all over the place. This is a little bit more of a different soft goods. So a little bit more fluffier. And it is like a gray fur too. And it does continue into the front, so that's nice. And it does drape pretty well. And it is a separate piece, so you can manipulate this any different way you want from that piece. So separate pieces right there. And here's the leg armor. Very nicely done with the leg armor. Really liking this. And the feet. And he does differentiate in the feet from Kurzog as well. Same thing goes for this piece, and same thing goes for the head, obviously. And he does actually come with extra armor, which I will get to in the next segment, which will be his accessories. So these are technically accessories right here for his gauntlet pieces. And then he does come with these in package. These pieces right here. Let me grab my tweezers. He does come with these which are not painted, but these are the same exact ones that Kurzog does come with. Kurzog does not come with these, so you are actually getting a little bit more with these, with the Legion Builder. So, but very nicely done. Like I said, if you paint this up, it will look very nicely done, I'm telling you. I think this might be your best bang for the buck as far as the Legion Builder goes. Mailman just dropped off your package. Awesome, man. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to this wonderful wave. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. So the gauntlets look very nicely done. They do mirror each other, just opposites. So, but yeah, I would definitely like to get a second one as well. I might have to pull the trigger on that. So those are his gauntlets. You've seen these gauntlets on his arms. They're the same ones that come with Bolthar, the tower, but they're just not painted. So next up, we have an extension piece for the back end of the, I guess you want to call these technically an axe and a mace, but you can turn them into a staff. And like I said, here's the mace portion. I did point this out at the unboxing, but I'll point it out again. This part of the mace is more of a solid plastic, where these are pliable. So you see the flex in that? These don't have any flex. So don't try to flex them, because these are a more solid sculpted piece, where these are a separate piece, which were kind of attached. Or actually, the harder pieces were attached. The softer pliable plastic was already a part of the mold. So, but very nicely done with that. I like the worn damage we got here. You got packing peanuts everywhere. Oh, I hate packing peanuts. They just get everywhere. And then for the handle, very nicely, new sculpt for all of this, by the way. This is all new sculpt. And then you can simply attach this to the bottom of this peg and extend it if you want. It is a little bit of a tighter fit. So there's that. But this is what it would look like if it was extended. And when you do extend it, it is almost the length of the figure. It pretty much is the length of the figure right here. It's actually a little bit taller. So that's pretty nice. But I really do like the sculpted or paintwork, or the sculpted work of this mace. So, and you can remove the mace head if you want to, and use this as an extension for the other one that he comes with, which is the axe. So you can extend that axe even more if you wanted to, and make it obscenely tall. Let's just try and go ahead and do that really quick. Try and do it, make this thing as long as I possibly can. I think this is about it right here. And now it is much taller, and I mean, whoa, look at that. I think that's as long as you can get it right there. That's pretty insane. So if you want to go that route with the axe, you can. But here is the axe portion too. Very nicely done with the sculpt. I really like the kind of worn battle damage that this has. So that looks really cool. And the sculpted work goes throughout, so it pretty much mirrors what I already showed you with the mace. So very nicely done with that. Now, here is the issue with his accessories, and there's a reason why he doesn't have any accessories in his hand. You're really going to have to heat these hands up, because they don't want to hold the staff or the mace and the axe very easily. So if these hands start getting cold on you, they are really going to just want to not move. They kind of have this rigor mortis, arthritis grip to them. Uh-oh, I think we froze here. Yeah, we froze. Hopefully this will fix itself, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Doorpox, how's it going? I think my screen froze here. I was hoping this wouldn't happen, but it did. Can we fix it? Sometimes it fixes